Yes, people, what's happening? Welcome back to Chelsea Fan TV and welcome to another edition of Player Ratings. First things first, guys, make sure you smash the like, subscribe if you're new around here, and as always, leave your thoughts in the comments below. And Chelsea rounded out their pre-season campaign on Sunday afternoon with a 1-1 draw against Italian champions Inter Milan, thanks to Leslie Ugochukwu's 90th minute equaliser. It was a positive performance, probably the best of pre-season. Lots of things to be pleased with. You know, we look good going forward. Looks tactically quite solid, created a lot of opportunities, didn't take our chances, looks better defensively, but that's maybe partly down to the fact that Inter didn't offer too much going forward. And there's still things to work on, but it was a positive performance overall for sure. But let's dive straight into the ratings. Obviously, there were a few changes to the lineup. Cucurella coming in for his first minutes. We saw Cole Palmer get his first minutes in the second half, along with Nicholas Jackson as well. We had Madueke, Guiu, and Mudryk starting as a front three. Dewsbury Hall, Lavia and Enzo in midfield. And a partnership of Colwell and Fofana at the back. Anyway, let's get this show on the road, people. Robert Sanchez played the full 90. I wanted to see Philip Jorgensen, but I think this, confirms what we knew anyway. Sanchez is starting the season as the number one. And I actually thought he was all right yesterday. He made a really good save in the second half to stop us from going 2 down. I think it was from DeMarco. And overall, he looks pretty solid. Didn't have very much to do. There wasn't anything he could do about the goal from Marcus Thuram, which was a brilliant finish. And I thought this was a solid, if not spectacular, performance from Sanchez. And I'd give him a 6 out of 10. But he's still got a lot of convincing to do, a lot of winning over to do. And it'll be interesting to see how he deals, being under pressure in a competitive situation, in a competitive match, whether he's got the ball at his feet in tight areas and whatnot. Can he make the right decisions? Those are questions that we don't know the answer to. But on the evidence of this performance, I'd give him a 6 out of 10 because I thought he was actually all right. Moving on to the defence then. Marc Cucurella, great to see him back. Only played the first half, but he was solid, progressive. You can clearly see that his confidence is running high. And this was all right from him, nothing spectacular, but nothing too bad either. I thought he was good. And you can see that he's going to be a big part of this team. His ability to invert from that left-hand side is going to make him an important part, and he's definitely going to be starting this season as Chelsea's first choice left back, no doubt about it, and a real plus to have him back. And great to see his confidence high, and you can see it in his performances. So this was good from Cucurella. I'd actually give him a 7 out of 10. I was impressed by what I saw from him. Moving to Malo Gusto at right back. Again, I thought he was really good. I'd give him a 7 out of 10. He was, he looked electric when he was chasing opponents down. He's got no problem stepping into midfield either. He's just a solid performer, a classy player. And, as we said before, the best thing we can say about Gusto is that he means that we don't miss James that much when he doesn't play. And Gusto is going to be a massive player for us this season. Going to start the first 3 games of the campaign due to that Reece James suspension. And yeah, this was good from him again. I'm looking forward to seeing what progress he makes in his second season at the club, because there's a top player in there, and we have seen it on a number of occasions now. So a 7 out of 10 for Gusto from me. Moving on to the centre-back pairing then. Starting with Levi Colwell. I suspect this is going to be Chelsea's first choice pairing for Sunday, Colwell and Fofana. Let's start with Colwell. I thought he was all right. He showed good strength. He looked solid overall. He was caught flat-footed for the Inter Milan goal, which is not ideal. But other than that, it was a decent shift that he put in. Admittedly, we didn't have an awful lot to do defensively because of how little Inter actually offered going forwards. But I would give Colwell a 6 out of 10. But this is a big season for him. We need him to step up and show the obvious qualities that he does have. In terms of Wesley Fofana, really positive that he's come through pre-season unscathed, got some much needed minutes in the tank and some match sharpness. He made some important interventions early on in the game, but along with Colwell, they needed to do more as a unit to prevent that Inter goal. Fofana, understandably, still going to be a bit rusty, and starting in the Premier League is going to be a big test for him in his road to recovery and getting back to full fitness. And it would be interesting to see how he copes with that. Should he start against City at the weekend? But I would give him also a 6 out of 10. Moving into the midfield then, Romeo Lavia starting again. He started every game this preseason. He did a really good preseason, but this game, I don't say it was a game too far for him, but this was probably his worst performance of pre-season. Looked a bit out of sorts, didn't dictate play in the way that he would have wanted to or would have liked to. And that what we've become accustomed to seeing over the course of the preseason. But, you know, I haven't got too many worries about Lavia. You know, I think he's got a real good chance of starting the first game of the season, given his performances in the preseason. But this game in isolation, it wasn't the best from him. And I would give him an average 5 for this one. Let's move on to the skipper, Enzo Fernandez, then. I thought he put in a good performance. You know, his ability to switch play is just effortless. Doesn't even look like he's trying at times. He captained the side. You know, he's growing into that leadership role. You could see him having a go at Cucurella in the first half and not passing the ball forward to him in space, and instead he passed it back. A number of conversations with Mykhailo Mudryk as well throughout the game. He needs to do more, I think, Enzo, without the ball in this particular system. But on it, he looks good. He looks like he's growing into a leadership role. And yeah, really, you know, really big season ahead for him. And I thought this was decent from Enzo. So I give him a 6.5 out of 10 for his performance. Moving on to Dewsbury Hall then. First appearance at Stamford Bridge, getting minutes in the legs. You know, he's not had an awful lot of minutes in pre-season. I thought he was solid, not particularly spectacular. He needs to impose himself more, work on those kind of defence-splitting passes that Chelsea will be looking for more of throughout the season. But, you know, I guess that will come with time. He's adapting to a new environment, playing in a different team. Yes, he knows the system, but there's still an adjustment period to take place. And I think I'd give Dewsbury Hall a 5.5 out of 10. But I think he's going to play a lot of minutes this season, and I think he will be an important player for the football club. Moving on to the front line then. Let's start with Noni Madueke. He's had a really positive pre-season. Only played 45 minutes, but every time that he had the ball, he always looked to go forwards and make something happen. Never looked to play it back. Taking players on, he's direct, looks to make things happen. And Neto's arrival, you know, has obviously led to increased competition. But Madueke, from a physical and a mental standpoint, looks like he's really ready for that challenge. And you would expect he will start down Chelsea's right-hand side against Manchester City. Again, it depends what they decide to do with Cole Palmer, whether they think he's fit enough to start, whether he's going to play on the right-hand side or play deeper. We don't know yet. But Madueke was a positive performance yesterday, and he's done a lot of good things in this pre-season to show that he can be a key part in this Enzo Maresca system. I liked what I saw from Noni yesterday, and I'd give him a 7 out of 10. Let's switch to the other wing then with Mykhailo Mudryk. Now, I actually thought he was all right, you know. He's got to get it right this season. You know, he's got the ability, he's got the talent, but we can't keep saying, oh, you know, it's now time to deliver. You know, he's got to deliver. And I thought he was all right in this game, you know, but as has been the case throughout a lot of his Chelsea career, had some great touches, some great moments, but the end product was missing. The ability's there, the talent's there. It's now on him to deliver. But I think he can be an important player for Maresca, but he's got to start delivering on the pitch. This was actually all right. He played, 75 odd minutes or so. And yeah, whether he starts against City or not, I don't really know. Sterling didn't particularly looked bright when he came on, but I don't really think there's an awful lot of difference between them two starting on the left-hand side at this point in time. But I would give Mudryk a 6 out of 10 for his performance. Moving on to Marc Guiu then, the youngster. This was good from him, you know. I liked what I saw. You know, he forced 2 saves from Sommer in the Inter goal. He pressed really well from the front. He's got good strength, good physicality. And he looks like he's ready to fight for his spot. And he looks a tidy little player. Obviously, on the evidence of pre-season, he absolutely deserves to hang around for for this season. But again, I would keep him. But ultimately, it depends on what strikers end up coming in to the club, which I think will dictate whether he ends up leaving or staying. But this was a positive performance from him, and I would give him a 7 out of 10 as well. I really liked what I saw from the youngster, and I think there's a player in there. And yeah, I'm excited to see how he develops, whether it's at the club or whether it's on loan somewhere else next season. Moving on to the subs, I won't do all the subs. I won't do Tosin and Badia Shield. They didn't really play that long. Neither did Nicholas Jackson, Raheem Sterling, or Ugo Chukwu. But we will do the guys that played 45 minutes, and in Nkunku, Palmer, and Renato Vega. Let's start with Christopher Nkunku then. Had a really positive pre-season. Had a brilliant overhead kick attempt, which, you know, tested Jan Sommer. But to be honest, Nkunku didn't really threaten as much as he would have liked to. And it was a reasonably quiet afternoon for him. And Chelsea will need him to rediscover his form from earlier in the pre-season against Manchester City, and we'll hope that he can have more of an impact. But I think it's great that Nkunku's come through pre-season unscathed. Has got some good minutes in the tank, building that match fitness up ahead of a really important campaign for him, because he's going to be massive for what we're looking to do. But in this game, he didn't offer an awful lot, and I would give him a 5 out of 10 for his performance. Moving on to Cole Palmer. First minutes of pre-season. Great to have him back. And you could tell the system looked more fluid as soon as he came on. He instantly lifted the team. Some nice touches. Also misplaced a number of passes. Maybe a little bit rusty. And he missed an opportunity that he probably would have expected him to score. But we know what Palmer's about. We know he's going to be massive for us this season. And that was a solid first outing of the pre-season for him. So I'd give him probably a 6 out of 10 for that performance from him. And lastly, Renato Vega, guys. Thought he was good, Come on at half-time. He's clearly ahead of Chilwell in the pecking order. And I'd be surprised if he goes out on loan, to be honest. I think he'll end up being the second choice left-back to Marc, depending on whether we can get rid of Ben Chilwell or not. He looks pumped up for this one. He was urging the fans to get amongst it every time he made a decent tackle. Solid, if not spectacular, would be how I describe his performance. It looks like he's ready. He's got a lot of good things about his game. There's a lot that needs to improve as well, but he looks a tidy player. And one that I'd be keeping around the squad based on how things are looking right now with the Ben Chilwell situation. But yeah, guys, those are my Chelsea player ratings for the game against Inter Milan. Thank you for watching. As always, make sure you leave your thoughts in the comments below. Smash the like button, subscribe if you're new around here, all that good stuff. I'll catch you again in another show soon. Up the Chelsea and peace out.